opened her eyes to darkness. Her head hurt badly. Her mouth was dry and tasted like metal. She tried to move her hands, but heavy chains held them above her head. Cold metal pressed against her back. She was not in her military base anymore. The last thing she remembered was walking back to her tent after night patrol in the mountains of Korea. There had been a bright light in the sky. Then nothing. Just darkness and silence until now. She pulled at the chains. They did not move. The metal was strong, stronger than anything she had felt before. Was only 19 years old, but she had trained in the Korean military for 2 years. She was small, only about 160 centimeters tall, but her body was hard from training. Her instructors always said she was too stubborn to quit. She never gave up on anything. A door opened somewhere. Blue light came into the room, closed her eyes against the brightness. When she opened them again, she saw something that made her heart stop. It was not human. The creature stood about 2 meters tall. Its skin was pale gray, almost white. It had 4 arms and a long neck. Its eyes were large and black, like a shark's eyes. It wore some kind of uniform with symbols did not understand. "The specimen is awake," the creature said. Its voice was strange, like many voices speaking at once. Somehow understood the words perfectly. She did not know how. Another creature came into the room. This one was shorter, with green skin and 3 eyes. It looked at a small device in its hand. "Category 9 origin confirmed," the green creature said. "Planet designation Earth, species human, female, young adult, good physical condition." "Category 9, the tall one asked. "Are you certain it looks weak?" "The scanners do not lie. This one comes from a..." Did not understand what they were talking about. She pulled at her chains again. Both creatures turned to look at her. "It struggles," the tall one said. "Amusing, it does not know its situation." "They never do," the green one replied. "The arena master will pay well for this one. Specimens are rare. They usually die during capture." Arena, that word sent ice through blood. She had read enough history to know what arenas meant. Fighting, death, entertainment for others. "Let me go," said. Her voice was rough and dry. "I am a soldier of the Republic of Korea. My country will come for me." Both creatures made a sound that might have been laughter. "Your planet does not even know other life exists," the tall one said. "No one is coming for you, little. You belong to the Empire now." They left her alone in the darkness again. Did not cry. She did not scream. She hung in her chains and thought. She was a soldier. Soldiers found ways to survive. Soldiers found ways to win. Time passed, could not tell how much. Sometimes creatures came to give her water and some kind of food paste. It tasted terrible, but she ate it. She needed strength. The ship moved, she could feel it. Sometimes there was shaking. Sometimes everything went very still. She heard other sounds too. Other prisoners, maybe, screaming, crying, begging in languages she somehow understood. Then one day, the door opened and many creatures came in. They unlocked her chains and put new ones on her wrists. They pushed her forward, out of the small room and into a long hallway. Saw other prisoners. Some looked almost human but with different colored skin or extra fingers. Others were completely different shapes. Tall ones, short ones, ones with fur, ones with scales. All of them had the same look in their eyes. Fear. But did not feel fear. She felt something else, something hot and sharp in her chest. Anger. They walked for a long time through the ship. Finally, they came to a large room with windows. Looked out and saw something that took her breath away. A planet, huge and orange with rings around it like Saturn. Ships flew everywhere, hundreds of them, maybe thousands. And on the planet's surface she could see lights. Cities. Massive cities that covered the land like bright spider webs. "Prime," one of the guards said. "Your new home, well, your home for however long you survive." The ship descended through the atmosphere. Watched the ground come closer. She saw the arena before they landed. It was enormous, bigger than any stadium on Earth. It looked like it could hold millions of people. When they landed, more guards waited outside. These ones were bigger with heavy armor and weapons. They looked at and laughed. "This is one of them said. "This tiny thing, the arena master paid good money for this." "Category 9 origin," another guard said. "High-gravity world, oxygen-rich atmosphere, extreme temperature variations. The planet is covered in predators and poisons." "It still looks weak." They did not understand. Knew they did not understand. On Earth, she was just a normal girl. A soldier, yes, but nothing special. But Earth was not a normal world. Earth was hell for anyone not born there. The guards took her to a large room under the arena. Cells lined the walls, filled with other prisoners. Some were sleeping. Some were crying. Some were already dead, their bodies waiting to be removed. They threw into an empty cell and locked the door. The floor was hard and cold. There was no bed, no blanket, nothing but stone walls and metal bars. Sat in the corner and waited. She did not know how long she would have to wait. She did not know what would happen when they put her in the arena, but she knew one thing. She was not going to die here. She was a daughter of Earth, a child of and these creatures had made a terrible mistake when they took her. The hours passed slowly, heard the crowds above. She heard the roars and screams of combat. She heard the cheering when something died. Tomorrow, or maybe the next day, that would be her up there, fighting for her life while aliens watched for entertainment. She closed her eyes and remembered her training. Every punch, every kick, every hour of running through the mountains in the rain and snow. Every time her body wanted to quit and her mind said no. Every lesson about survival, about fighting, about never giving up. The creatures thought they had captured prey. They thought she was entertainment. They thought she would die quickly and make them money. They were wrong. Smiled in the darkness of her cell. Let them come. Let them send their champions. She would show them what it could do. And when she was done, they would remember her name. The guards came for when the suns rose over Prime. 2 suns, one orange and one white, filled the sky with strange light. Had never seen anything like it, but she did not have time to look at the sky. The guards pushed her forward toward the arena gates. "Move," one of them said. "The arena master does not like to wait." They took her to a preparation room. Other prisoners were there, being fitted with simple armor and given weapons. Watched carefully. She saw swords, spears, clubs, things that looked like axes but with curved blades. Basic weapons. Old weapons. A guard threw some leather armor at her feet. Put it on. Picked up the armor. It was too big for her, made for someone much larger. She put it on anyway. It was better than nothing. "Weapon?" she asked. The guard laughed. "You get no weapon, little one. The arena master wants to see how long you last with just your hands. It will be funny," he says. Said nothing. She had expected this. They wanted her to die fast. They wanted to laugh at the small human girl trying to fight with her bare hands. Let them laugh. The gates opened. Sunlight flooded in. The noise hit like a wall. Thousands of voices, maybe millions, all screaming and cheering. She walked out into the arena and looked around. It was even bigger than she had thought. The arena floor was covered in sand, orange like rust. The walls were high, maybe 30 meters, too high to climb. Above the walls, seats went up and up and up, filled with aliens of every kind. They were all looking at her. On one side of the arena was a special section, raised above the others. The seats there were larger and more comfortable. Guessed that was where the important people sat, the ones who paid to watch people die. A voice boomed across the arena, coming from everywhere at once. "Citizens of Prime, welcome to today's entertainment. We have something special for you, a creature from a Category 9, a human from the planet called Earth." The crowd made sounds. Some cheered, some laughed, some made noises of curiosity. "This small female will face 8 of our trained arena champions. Let us see how long the survives." A gate on the opposite side of the arena opened. 8 creatures came out. They were all different species, but they all had one thing in common. They were big, much bigger than. The smallest one was at least 2 meters tall. The biggest was nearly 3 meters. They wore proper armor. They carried proper weapons. Swords and axes and things did not have names for. They walked toward her slowly, spreading out to surround her. The crowd went quiet. They were waiting for the kill. Took a deep breath. She felt her heart beating fast. She felt the blood moving through her body. She felt her muscles tight and ready. She had trained for 2 years in one of the hardest military programs on Earth. She had run through mountains. She had fought in exercises where failure meant pain. She had pushed her body past every limit. And she had done all of this on Earth, a planet with gravity nearly twice as strong as Prime. The champions charged. The first one was fast but was faster. On Earth she was quick. Here, with the lighter gravity, she was like wind. She moved sideways, letting the champion's blade pass through empty air. Then she stepped in close and hit him in the throat with her elbow. On Earth that blow would hurt. Here, with her dense bones and muscles built for heavy gravity, it was something else. The champion's throat collapsed. He fell to the ground, choking, dying. The crowd went silent. Did not stop. She grabbed the fallen champion's sword. It was heavy, but to her earth-born muscles it felt like nothing. She spun and caught the second champion's attack on the blade. The force of the block sent him stumbling back. He was not ready for how strong she was. She cut his legs out from under him. He screamed as he fell. She silenced him with a quick thrust. 2 down. The whole thing had taken maybe 10 seconds. The other 6 champions stopped moving. They looked at each other. They looked at the small human girl who had just killed 2 trained fighters in seconds. "What are you waiting for?" said. Her voice was calm. "Come." They came, but more carefully now. They tried to attack together all at once from different angles. It was a good strategy. Against a normal opponent it would work. But was not normal. Her eyes tracked all 6 of them at the same time. Her body, trained to fight in Earth's heavy gravity, moved faster than they could believe. She ducked under a sword swing, blocked an axe with her stolen blade, and kicked the third attacker in the knee. On Earth that kick would break a bone. Here it shattered the joint completely. The champion collapsed screaming. Used his body as a shield against the others. She moved constantly, never staying in one place. She had learned this in training. Keep moving. Never let them surround you. Strike fast. Strike hard. The 4th champion died with his own spear through his chest. Had taken it from him and turned it around in one smooth motion. The 5th champion tried to run. He had seen enough. He wanted to live, but was faster. She caught him before he reached the gate and opened his throat with her blade. The crowd was no longer silent. They were screaming now, but not with joy, with fear, with shock. Some were trying to leave their seats. The last 3 champions stood together. They were breathing hard. Their weapons shook in their hands. They looked at like she was a monster from their worst nightmares. "Please," one of them said. "Please, we surrender, we yield." Looked at them. She thought about mercy. She thought about letting them live. Then she remembered the cells under the arena, the bodies waiting to be removed, all the prisoners who had died here for entertainment. "No," she said. "They fought because they had no choice, and they died because gave them no choice." The last body hit the sand, stood in the center of the arena, surrounded by 8 dead champions. Her armor was splashed with violet and blue and green blood. Her sword dripped with it. The suns had moved only a small distance across the sky. Less than 1 hour had passed. The arena was silent. Millions of aliens sat frozen in their seats, unable to believe what they had just witnessed. The small human girl, the one they thought would die in minutes, had killed 8 trained champions with a speed and brutality they had never seen. In the special section, the arena master sat very still. His name was, he was old even for his species. He had run this arena for 200 years. He had seen thousands of fighters, millions of deaths. He thought he had seen everything. He was wrong. "Get me the guards," he said quietly. "Send in the security team, all of them." "All of them, Master?" his assistant asked. That is our entire force." "Did you not see what she just did? Send all of them now." Below in the arena looked up at the special section. She could not see the arena master clearly, but she knew he was there. She lifted her sword and pointed it directly at him. "Come," she said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Send more." The crowd began to scream again, some in fear, some noticed in something else, in excitement, in hope. They were prisoners here too, she realized, prisoners of this empire, and they had just watched a small girl from a kill their master's champions. They were starting to hope. Smiled, this was only the beginning. The arena gates opened again. This time it was not champions who came through. It was guards, 12 of them. They wore heavy armor, the kind that could stop most weapons. They carried energy weapons along with their blades. These were not fighters meant for entertainment. These were killers meant for war. Watched from above. His 4 hands gripped the arms of his chair. He had paid a fortune for the human girl. He had expected her to die quickly and provide a few minutes of entertainment. Instead, she had destroyed his best champions and now stood waiting like a predator watching prey approach. "This is impossible," his assistant said. "She is just a human. The reports say humans are weak. Their planet is harsh, yes, but they are soft creatures. They have no natural weapons, no armor, no poison." "The reports are wrong," said. "Look at her, she is not even tired." It was true. Stood in the center of the arena, surrounded by bodies, and her breathing was normal. On Earth, she had run for hours through mountains without stopping. She had fought in training exercises for entire days. Her body was built for endurance that these aliens could not understand. The 12 guards spread out as they approached. They were more careful than the champions had been. They had watched their friends die. They knew this human was dangerous. "Use the energy weapons," one of them said. "Do not get close to her." They raised their weapons. Blue light began to gather at the ends. Energy weapons, laser guns. Whatever they were called here knew what they meant. She could not block those with a sword. But she could move. The first shot fired, was already running. The beam hit the sand where she had been standing, turning it to glass. She ran not away from the guards, but toward them, faster than they expected, faster than they could track. "She is too fast," one guard shouted. "How is she?" He did not finish, reached him before he could fire again. Her sword went through the gap in his armor under his arm. He fell. The other guards tried to shoot, but used the falling body as cover. She grabbed the dead guard's energy weapon and kept moving. On Earth had trained with guns. She knew how to shoot. The energy weapon was different, lighter, with strange balance, but the basic idea was the same. Point. Fire. 3 more guards fell before they understood what was happening. The human was using their own weapons against them. "Close combat," the lead guard screamed. "Get close. She cannot use the gun if we are close." It was smart thinking, but it was wrong. Could use the gun at any range, and she could fight with her hands at any range too. The guards charged, dropped the energy weapon and picked up a fallen blade. She moved through them like water through rocks. Where they were, she was not. Where they struck, she had already gone. She was smaller than all of them. That had always been her advantage in training. The bigger the enemy, the more they underestimated her, the more gaps they left in their defense. One guard swung a massive club at her head. She ducked under it and cut the tendons in his arm. He dropped the weapon. She caught it before it hit the ground and used it to break another guard's leg. The crowd was screaming, not with joy now, with raw animal terror. Some were running for the exits. Others sat frozen, unable to look away from the massacre below. 7 guards were down. 5 remained. They backed away from their weapons shaking. "This is not possible," one of them said. "No single creature can do this. What is she?" Looked at them, blood dripped from her blade. Her borrowed armor was soaked with it, but her face was calm, almost peaceful. "I am human," she said. "I am from Earth. Your empire made a mistake when it took me." She moved again. One more guard fell, then another. The last three dropped their weapons. They fell to their knees in the sand. "Please," one of them begged. "Please, we surrender. We were only following orders. Please show mercy." Stopped, she looked at them kneeling before her. She thought about the cells under the arena, the other prisoners, the ones who had begged for mercy and received none. But she was not like these aliens. She was human. Humans could be cruel, yes, but they could also be kind. They could choose. "Go," she said. "Run, tell everyone what you saw here." The three guards ran. They scrambled to their feet and fled through the arena gate, leaving their weapons behind. They did not look back. Watched them go. Then she began to collect weapons, the energy guns, the swords, the armor pieces that were not too damaged. She piled them in the center of the arena, building a small arsenal. Above was screaming at his officers. "Send more guards. Send the entire security force. Kill her." "Arena Master," one officer said carefully, "the security force was 12 soldiers. They are all dead or fled." "Then hire mercenaries, contract fighters, anyone." "It will take time, Master, hours at least." Slammed his 4 fists on the arms of his chair. The wood cracked under the force. "She is one human, one small female from a primitive planet. How is this possible?" No one answered. No one had an answer. In the arena below, finished collecting weapons. She had 6 energy guns now, all fully charged. She had 4 swords of different lengths. She had pieces of armor that fit her well enough. She was no longer the helpless prisoner they had thrown into the arena with nothing. She was armed, she was dangerous, and she was not leaving. Walked to the center of the arena and sat down on the pile of weapons. She crossed her legs and closed her eyes. She looked like she was meditating. The crowd did not know what to do. Some were still leaving. Others were returning to their seats. Word was spreading through the arena, through the city, through the planet. A human from was killing everyone sent against her. "What is she doing?" demanded. "Why is she just sitting there?" "I think," his assistant said slowly, "she is waiting." "Waiting for what?" "For you to send more." Felt something he had not felt in 200 years. Fear. Cold, crawling fear in his chest. He had bought this creature thinking she was prey. He had been so very wrong. She was not prey. She was the predator. And now she was sitting in his arena, surrounded by the bodies of his guards, waiting for him to send more victims. "Get me more soldiers," said. His voice was quieter now, less angry, more afraid. "I do not care what it costs. Get me an army if you have to. That thing must die." His assistant bowed and hurried away. Stayed in his chair, watching the human girl sitting peacefully in the blood-soaked sand below. For the first time in his long life, he wondered if he was going to lose. In the arena, opened her eyes. She looked up at the special section, at the arena master she knew was watching. She could feel his fear from here. It tasted sweet. "I am still waiting," she called out. "Is that all you have? The great empire, the masters of 1,000 worlds. Is that all you can send against one small human?" The crowd heard her. They began to murmur, then to talk, then to shout. They were chanting her title, not as an insult anymore, as something else, as a name to fear, as a symbol. Smiled, she had been a soldier. Now she was something more. She was a legend being born. 2 hours had passed since entered the arena. The twin suns had moved across the sky, and long shadows stretched across the bloody sand. The bodies of champions and guards still lay where they had fallen. No one had come to remove them. No one dared enter the arena. Paced back and forth in his observation room. His 4 arms moved constantly, clenching and unclenching. His advisors watched him nervously. None of them wanted to speak. "Where are the reinforcements?" demanded. "I called for soldiers an hour ago." They are outside, Arena Master," one advisor said carefully. "Then send them in. What are they waiting for?" The advisor looked at the floor. He did not want to answer, but grabbed him with two of his arms and lifted him off the ground. "Speaker." "They refuse," the advisor choked out. "The soldiers refuse to enter the arena." "Dropped him." The advisor fell hard on the stone floor. "They refuse. They are soldiers of the Empire. They do not refuse orders." They watched the recordings, Arena Master. They saw what the human did to the guards. They say. The advisor hesitated. "They say what?" "They say she is not prey. They say she is death itself. They will not go in." Made a sound of pure rage. He grabbed a chair and threw it against the wall. It shattered into pieces. Outside the arena, 50 soldiers stood in formation. They were professional fighters, mercenaries hired to kill. They had fought in wars across the galaxy. They had killed thousands. They feared nothing. Except now they did. Their commander, a tall female with blue skin and white eyes, stood at the front. Her name was. She had fought for 30 years. She had never lost a battle, and she was not going into that arena. "Commander," her lieutenant said, "the arena master's orders are clear. We must kill the human." "Then the arena master can come down here and do it himself," replied. "I watched the recordings. That thing killed 20 soldiers in less than 2 hours. 20. Some of them were my friends. She is one human. There are 50 of us." Turned to look at her lieutenant. Her white eyes were cold. "You want to go in? Go. I will not stop you, but I am not ordering my soldiers to die for that old fool's pride." The lieutenant looked at the arena gates. Through the gaps he could see the sand, the bodies, and in the center, sitting peacefully, the human girl. She was cleaning one of her stolen swords with a piece of cloth from a dead guard's uniform. "No," he said quietly, "I do not want to go in." "Then we wait." Inside the arena had heard everything. The walls were high, but sounds carried. She knew the soldiers would not come. She had won without fighting. But she also knew this was only a pause. The arena master would find someone eventually, someone desperate enough or stupid enough to come after her. She needed a plan. The crowd was still there. Millions of beings sitting in the seats above, watching her. Most of them were scared, but some were different. Some looked at her with something like hope. She stood up and walked to the edge of the arena, below where the common people sat. These were not the rich aliens in the special sections. These were workers, slaves, common citizens who came to the arena for cheap entertainment. Many of them wore chains. "Can you hear me?" called up to them. The crowd murmured, some nodded. I am human. I come from a planet called Earth. Your masters took me from my home. They put me in chains. They threw me into this arena to die for your entertainment." She raised her blood-covered sword. "But I did not die, and I will not die. I am going to walk out of this arena, and then I am going to make your masters pay for every person they have killed here." The crowd was silent. Then someone shouted, "She is lying. She cannot escape. The Empire is too strong." Found the one who spoke, a thin alien with yellow skin and no hair. He looked scared but also angry. "You are right," said. "One person cannot defeat an empire, but I am not asking you to defeat them. I am asking you to stop being afraid of them." She pointed at the bodies in the sand. "Look at them. These were the Empire's champions, their guards, their soldiers. They had weapons and armor and training, and they died. They died because they thought they were stronger than me. They were wrong." Began to walk around the arena, speaking to all sections of the crowd. "The Empire is not strong. They are bullies. They are only powerful because you let them be powerful, because you believe they cannot be beaten." She stopped and looked up at the observation room where was watching. But I just showed you they can be beaten. 20 of their fighters are dead at my feet, and their soldiers are too scared to come in and face me." The crowd began to murmur again, louder this time. Some aliens were standing up, some were nodding, some were looking at the guards around the arena with new eyes. In the observation room, felt a chill run down his spine. "She is not just fighting," he said quietly. "She is starting a rebellion." "Arena Master," another advisor said. "We should call the Imperial Guard. This is beyond arena security now." "The Imperial Guard is 3 days away. By then, she will have the whole planet ready to revolt." Looked at the human girl walking in his arena, turning his audience against him with nothing but words. She was small. She was covered in blood. She should be dead. Instead, she was becoming something far more dangerous than a fighter. She was becoming a symbol. "I will go down myself," said suddenly. His advisors stared at him in shock. "Arena Master, you cannot. You are too valuable to." "She is turning my arena against me. My guards will not fight. My soldiers will not enter. If I do not do something, I will have a revolution before sundown." He stood up and took a weapon from the wall. An ancient sword, passed down through his family for generations. He had not used it in 100 years. "Besides," he said, his voice hard, "I was a champion once, long before I was Arena Master. Perhaps it is time to remind everyone of that." The gates began to open. The crowd fell silent. Turned to face the new threat. She saw the tall gray alien walking out onto the sand. He was old, but he moved with the grace of a trained fighter. He carried a sword that glowed with strange energy. "So," she said, "the master finally comes to do his own work." Stopped 20 meters from her. He looked at the bodies around them, at the blood in the sand, at the small human girl who had killed so many. "You have caused me great trouble." "Good," replied, "you deserve more." Raised his sword. The blade hummed with power. "I will enjoy killing you," he said. "And when you are dead, I will find your planet Earth. I will enslave your entire species. Every human will serve in my arenas until none are left." Smiled. It was not a friendly smile. "You talk too much," she said. "Come, let us finish this." The arena master charged. The final battle had begun. Was fast, faster than the champions, faster than the guards. 200 years of fighting had made his body into a perfect weapon. His 4 arms moved in patterns that confused the eye. His glowing sword cut through the air like fire. But was faster. She had expected him to be strong. She had watched him move when he entered the arena. She had seen the way his muscles worked, the way he balanced his weight. He was dangerous, perhaps the most dangerous thing she had faced here. It did not matter. Their swords met. Energy crackled where the blades touched. Felt the power of his weapon pushing against her, trying to break through her guard. She pushed back. His eyes went wide. He was using all his strength, and this tiny human was matching him. Not just matching, pushing him back. "How?" he gasped. "You are human, you should be weak." "My planet has stronger gravity than yours," replied. "My muscles, my bones, my heart, all of them are built for a world that would crush you in hours. Here, in your light gravity, I am something else." She shoved him away. He stumbled back 3 steps. "Here, I am a monster." She attacked. Her blade moved so fast it looked like light, blocked the first strike, the second, the third, but the fourth got through, cutting a line across his arm. Violet blood sprayed onto the sand. He screamed and swung wildly with all 4 arms. Ducked, rolled, came up behind him. Her sword bit into his leg. He fell to one knee. The crowd was roaring now, not with fear, with something else, with excitement, with joy. The arena master who had killed so many, who had ruled with terror for 200 years, was losing. "Yield," said. She stood over him, sword ready. Looked up at her. Blood was running from his wounds. His sword had fallen from his grip. He was beaten and he knew it. Yield to human, never. He pulled something from his belt, a small device, a bomb, realized. He was going to blow them both up rather than lose. But his fingers never touched the button. Moved before he could think. Her sword went through his hand, pinning it to the ground. He screamed as the device fell from his grip. She kicked it away across the sand. Then she grabbed by his throat and lifted him off the ground. With her earth-born muscles, he was light as a child. "You took me from my home," she said. Her voice was calm, but her eyes burned with cold fire. "You put me in chains. You threw me into your arena to die for entertainment. You killed thousands of people here, millions maybe, and now you wanted to escape justice by dying." She threw him down into the sand. He landed hard, coughing and gasping. "No," said, "you do not get to die, you will live. You will watch while everything you built falls apart. You will see your empire crumble, and you will know that a small human girl from a started it all." She turned to face the crowd. Millions of eyes watched her. The arena was completely silent. "The arena master is beaten," announced. Her voice carried across the massive space. "The champions are dead. The guards are dead or fled. The soldiers outside will not fight. This arena belongs to no one now." She looked at the sections where slaves sat in chains. "Come down here, all of you who are prisoners, all of you who were brought here against your will. Come down, no one will stop you." For a moment, nothing happened. Then one person stood up, a small alien with green skin and large eyes. He climbed over the seats and jumped down to the arena floor. It was a long drop but caught him and set him down gently. Then another came, and another, and another. Soon hundreds were flooding onto the arena floor. Then thousands. The guards at the gates tried to stop them, but there were too many. The people pushed through, overwhelming them without violence. They just walked past, too many to be stopped. Commander watched from outside. She looked at her soldiers. "Stand down," she ordered. "Let them pass." "Commander, but—" "Look at them. This is not a fight anymore. This is a revolution. We can die trying to stop it, or we can step aside and live." She dropped her weapon on the ground. One by one, her soldiers did the same. Inside the arena stood on a pile of fallen weapons, surrounded by thousands of freed prisoners. They looked at her with something like worship. She did not want that. She was just a soldier, just a girl from Earth who wanted to go home. But she knew what she had become to them. Hope, proof that the Empire could be beaten, a symbol that would spread across the galaxy. "What do we do now?" someone asked. "Where do we go?" Looked up at the sky. 2 suns, strange stars, a galaxy she did not know. "First we take this city," she said. "Then this planet. Then we find others like us, others who want to be free, and we build something new." She looked down at, still lying in the sand, bleeding and broken. "And we make sure nothing like this ever happens again." The freed prisoners cheered. The sound was so loud it shook the arena walls. It echoed across the city. People in the streets stopped and looked up, wondering what was happening. Word spread quickly. The human had won. The arena master had fallen. The arena was free. Before the twin suns set that day, protests had started in 3 cities. By the next morning, the whole planet was in revolt. The Empire sent troops, but the people were not afraid anymore. They had seen a small human girl defeat an Empire's champions with her bare hands. If she could do that, anything was possible. Did not stop. She led the freed prisoners out of the arena and into the city. She organized them, trained them, taught them what she knew from her military experience. She found weapons and supplies. She made allies with those who had been waiting for a chance to fight back. Within a week, Prime was free. Within a month, 3 more planets had followed. Within a year, the Empire was at war with a rebellion that grew larger every day. And at the heart of it all was a 19-year-old girl from Earth, a soldier. They called her many names: the Monster, the Liberator, the First Flame. but she preferred the name the crowd had chanted in the arena before everything changed. She never did find a way back to Earth. The distance was too great, the technology too different, but she made a new home in the stars. She built a new family from the people she freed, and she never stopped fighting for those who could not fight for themselves. Years later, when historians wrote about the fall of the Empire, they all agreed on one thing. It started in an arena on Prime. It started when a foolish arena master bought a slave from a Category 9. It started when the small human girl killed 8 champions in the first hour. And it continued when, by hour 2, the guards refused to enter the arena. That was when everyone knew the world was about to change. That was when the legend began.